Oh my God, we fucked Ohio.
Yeah.
We
Yes, yes, we did.
we ended the last
A week.
episode with hopefully we can say we can start the next one with fucked Ohio. So
Yeah.
we got it.
Yeah.
We did it. Every unbelievable stuff.
The whole state.
The whole
Yeah.
state. Welcome to episode 7 of Detroit
Hi.
City Supporter Radio. I'm your one of your co-hosts, Dion.
Hi, Dion.
Hi, Dion. I'm Sean, another co-host, and you're
I'm Jam.
Jam.
Jim.
Color commentary.
For the culture.
For the culture. And so we don't really have anything planned for this episode. I have not even rewatched the match. I had did not sleep last night. Um, then woke up and
Tell us
worked.
why.
Oh, they don't want to know why. I mean, they might already know why.
Okay, well.
Yeah, it's because
Right.
we fucked Ohio.
Well, I mean, yeah. I was talking about, the dogs.
Oh, well, yeah, the puppy was sick and woke me up every 40 minutes. So, yeah, no, that was good, too. I had more fun at the game. But,
That was fun.
Jam, you're starting the episode with us today.
Heard, right?
We needed the color commentary early.
That's what we got this week.
So this episode is called Victory Lap. Anyone know why?
Because we fucked Ohio.
Okay. 3 times. It's been established. Now everyone definitely knows. No. So how did Sean, tell me how your day at the stadium started yesterday.
Well, Sarah was working yesterday, so I had the day off and kind of, got everything ready for us to kind of quickly whisk out of here. And we wound up the drive down was really like we left as soon as we could and got there right as the gates were opening, basically. Um, and got through security, and it was pretty clear that the crowd was going to be
A big one.
large. Yeah. For me, when I'm seeing that kind of thing as a former employee of the club and as this kind of nerd, like the thing that I'm thinking is like, okay, we need to produce here, because a lot of time got a lot of first timers, and that's how you raise the baseline, right? Is you get first timers there and you blow their minds, and then they start coming back. And I think that a lot of minds were blown last night. The fact that it was that it wasn't a walkover,
Yeah.
that was clearly kind of a grinder of a game.
Yep.
Down the goal. And
there's a story there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I mean like they're like just the whole narrative of the match for first timers is
exactly. And I think if you're a person who doesn't you're not into it the way we're into it, you hear like this MLS team is coming, and then we give up a penalty in the first like 6 minutes, and we've heard that this goalkeeper's amazing and he doesn't save the penalty, and it's like, well, okay. You kind of feel like probably a lot of those people were like, well.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a part of me that was like, because there's no mistaking that some of those players have a lot of quality. The Morris kid,
they're individually, there was some really good guys
in City College. Like, that kid was excellent, and he's 20.
Wow.
He ought to be playing for them in MLS. Like I think that's probably, if you talk to Caleb Porter today about what he got out of last night, I think he probably is like, well, I need to play Morris more, like because I mean, kid,
But would he
Yeah,
talk to anyone
yeah, you
today?
refuse to talk to anyone.
right? Well, no, I understand.
No, but
I mean,
yeah,
like
no,
like
I'm gonna
Caleb
be shit
Porter's a
talking
total
throughout
bitch.
this whole episode.
Caleb Porter's a total bitch. I'm not trying to say like I'm just saying if you could read his mind,
Oh yeah.
not that he's gonna you because um
That's what he
but
jotted down. He was like, "All right, Morris."
yeah. I mean, and it's like the people saying like, oh, we left people behind. Like, well, yeah, okay, you did, but I mean, and yeah, you left some expensive players behind, but you still had like, double our payroll just on the field. Like, and leave Zardes out of it, who makes like $1.4 million a year,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize
Crazy.
until I like
Crazy money.
looked at like, fuck, are you serious?
They paid
what?
$7 million for him too.
No, that's Zalaria.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, that was Zalaria. You're right.
Yeah,
Uh,
but and I mean, sure, he could have brought Zalarian, and that dude would have messed with us hard. But I mean, he tears up MLS.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't think the idea that they left people behind and that's like it's a built-in excuse. Like, no, this is a fight with all the resources you have in your hand, and you decided that you could safely save these resources. And like it's like in a board game when you decide like, oh, I think I don't need to go this far into this. I'm about to get fucked. And you got fucked and go, like stop doing the crying hands and just go, okay,
Yeah,
you beat
yeah.
us.
I
You didn't care enough to show up, so fuck off.
I'm like since winning, and if you look at like the Crew 96 hashtag on any social media,
Oh yeah,
it is so
nothing but delicious
delicious tears, like the saltiest salt, like bottom of the ocean salt, and Porter out.
Well, I said last week that we needed to learn you're getting sacked in the morning.
You did say that last week.
And like,
oh, I forgot you said that. Oh my god.
I don't think they're going to fire him. I think he's got. I think they gave him a long-term deal after the winning the MLS Cup.
Yeah.
Same Portland did.
Yeah. Fool me once.
And I think that, yeah, they're probably not going to. I don't think they have so much money that they're just like, oh, let's burn it. Let's throw a couple more $1 million down the hole to get rid of this coach.
Yeah. Okay, well, rebuilding year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's it's instructive because it's not like Caleb Porter is some kind of jerk off fool. Like he's a pretty decent manager. He's gotten results. He understands how to, teach guys to play a certain way. But I think that it's one of those situations where you contrast him with what we have, in Trevor,
Yeah,
and in Tiffany, really, and it's just what we have is so much better, and like, and just cooler, like
yeah. I
quiet, thoughtful, like
one thing
non-controversial, just great.
one thing that we were talking about last night at the match, like a group of us, was like the difference between being like a Hartford or an MLS team is Trevor James. And I forgot who said it, so whoever said that in the group we were talking last night, like I was like, damn, that is absolutely true. It's Trevor, like you said, Trevor and Tiffany.
Well, I'll put it, I would put it more pointedly. I don't think we're where we are if Trevor doesn't come in 2019. If we hire
Absolutely not.
American bozo, Caleb Porter.
Caleb Porter.
like on that day they switch places and like there's some kind of like magic switcheroo and Trevor is running the crew. The crew are like currently like two-time repeat MLS Cup champions and just sort of like smooth sailing. And we're
Yeah, Eric Rudland was on the short list from what I remember.
winning Nisa, you know, bitterly.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Chad in the chat mentioned Rudland too. That was going to be one of the options.
Oh, stop.
I mean, what are you going to do? Like, there's not like an international coach
No,
database.
no, yeah,
You ask for applications and people apply, and if the guy that has the best looking resume happens to be the guy who's like kicked your nuts in for several years then okay. uh, even if you don't really like think he's amazing, like
he did do that.
yeah.
But we also
So
would not be
Yeah.
where we're at with something like
right,
that either.
right. Well, I mean, and like in terms of the structure, I mean, the thing to me with Trevor is just like the vastness of his experience. Is he's seen so many different sizes of clubs and so many like when you're at the like he kind of knows the order you add people
Yeah.
in. Like, okay, now we're going to need one of these and one of these. And then like as we're going to staff up, we need another. Now we're going to need like a sports scientist, not just a physio.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're going to like because we're going to start to get match congestion, we need to compete, we need to stay ahead of this, and we're going to need to invest in Y Scout, and we need to get this and that. Like he just knows how to put together a functioning football team, soup to nuts, like every bit of
Soup
it.
to nuts.
That's like yeah.
No, I know it's great.
Like a 50s expression. Just trying to bring the greatest generation into the conversation here.
Soup to nuts.
Fucking
No,
Christ.
man, I love it.
I'm gonna go to sleep.
No, we're fucking
But
exhausted.
I don't think that we can. Like, it's impossible to overestimate the extent to which we're blessed by this association, I think.
Yep.
So
Jam, how was your match? That was the original question.
yeah.
No,
so,
you're fine, Sean.
It was every time I go to the bathroom, we score a goal.
Oh man.
So I missed the first one. Dean and I wandered to the far side to use real bathrooms. And we were on our way back grabbing a beer. And there it happened.
Yeah.
But I get to hug George, so it was totally worth missing the goal.
That was worth it. You can rewatch the goal. You wouldn't get that hug back.
Exactly. We ended up getting more superstitious because it's what we do.
Yeah.
And we decided, like, if Padre and I embraced each other, we would score another goal. Because the last time we were together at a match and embraced each other, we scored a goal. So it's going to work again. So we're like trying it. We're waiting for the right time. Like, it wasn't happening. And then the moment comes to us. And we're like, oh, yeah, it's time to score a goal. Like, they're literally setting it up for us. We stood there and we embraced, and my eyes were closed. I didn't actually see it happen. I didn't watch it. My eyes were closed and like in Dean's shoulder.
Yeah, Sarah was looking the other way. She was holding my hand and looking the other way because she's like, I can't watch.
And then I heard everybody and I could open my eyes, and it was good, and I took my shirt off.
Full ultra.
Nice.
Oh man, that's great.
That was my experience. I stood with people I haven't seen in fucking years.
I saw yeah. It was like being in a time machine. MLS just brings people out, let me say. and the crew and like Ohio team, like it was just the perfect storm. Like it was unbelievable. I saw like old time like Cash Tech 2012 2013 fans that I had not seen in years out for a match like that. And honestly, that was really, really, really special. And it was really, really, really. It's like, it's something that like that laid the foundation for everything, and this match was the top of the pyramid. It was the what's that little top of the pyramid piece called, or like the top of the arch?
Capstone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, the capstone. So like this match was just like, yep, that's it. It like so I don't know. It was just it was really special, a really special night. And I was surrounded by people that I'm glad were there to experience it.
Yeah, I mean, um, like I mean the thing that I want to kind of this was amazing, um, but it's like that. I feel like it's like the Simpsons meme with the like, worst day of your life so far. um, like we I think that um, we're we still have room to go up from
Yeah,
there.
I do too.
And I think we're going to
Continue.
see that
Yeah,
happen.
I know, and like without a doubt, I'm on the same page. Like there's more potential there.
Yeah,
There is.
because I mean, like every single one of the guys that we saw playing for Columbus makes more money than every single one of our guys.
Yeah,
I don't know that 100%. Like I haven't verified that, but I
it's a
would
safe assumption.
I would I'm pretty sure that's the case. And we had a lot of guys who showed that they belong on that field.
Yeah,
Um, and I do think that so it's already pretty apparent that it's going to be difficult to hold on to some of these
yep,
guys going next
yeah,
year. you know, like
Yeah.
I got to feel like Reese Williams is a guy that if you're just there kind of scouting, like let's see, let's see, like you're there to try to pick the bones of the
yeah,
crew,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Probably you're what two players can we
Yep.
pull off, or what which and and you've seen some guys who can play for wearing the city crest, like, oh, okay, hold up, I mean, Matt, it's and Reese is, because of his like just eye-popping athleticism. He's really, really athletic, um, at that level, at that top professional level, still a pretty exceptional
Yeah,
athlete, um, which is saying something. Like
it really
you,
is.
you, he was playing defensive midfielder for Stumptown half the
Yeah.
time, and you look at it now, and it's like, wow, you know I mean, he's a two-footed, explosive, strong wingback.
It's just so
Okay,
rare.
yeah, it's
It's like
ridiculous.
so
It's
rare.
ridiculous. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, he's a unicorn, and we get
Man.
Trev's like, yeah, I just went looking for the unicorns. Like, oh, okay.
And then it's like, but like it's
Mm.
like Reese, but then there's like more than one unicorn. Like he found a herd of
Yeah,
unicorn.
yeah, exactly. In
In
Nisa.
Nisa.
Sure. Um,
Nice.
so I mean, yeah, I really, I mean, a tremendous. Like it would have been very easy to let down, um, after that first goal.
Yep.
That's you know, if it was us, just kind of regular people, you're, doesn't matter how like fired up you are when you begin, like when they come out and kind of start dominating you a little bit, move the ball right through, in a way that you're like, whoa, aha, oh, this is happening really quickly,
Oh, oh, oh. Ooh.
yeah, I mean, had that, like, you could see our guys were like, okay, we gotta play faster, gotta think faster,
Yeah.
like we're behind it, like, kind of all have that look on their face, like they're internally like trying to turn the wick up as much as they can.
Shoveling the coal in.
Um, yeah, and then they finally, they caught up to it, but we were already 1-0 down. Um,
We're a second half team. We know
It's
yeah,
true.
this.
and I mean, really, like we didn't wait till halftime this time.
No. Last
I
15.
mean, by about the
So much better
yeah
first half.
yeah by about the half hour mark, we were in control of the match and stayed in control of the match. It really didn't give them anything, um, except for the odd shout for a penalty.
The old
From that
somersault.
point forward. Right. I mean, I don't know the one. I haven't looked at that one, the first one from Nate. That's probably something we should talk
Yeah.
about. See, like this is where
Yeah.
if we had
No, we
notes, we'd
can.
have
So let's
notes.
talk game moments.
But
Game moments.
um, okay, so like there were several penalty shouts in the
Yep.
match. Um, they got one, we got one. They probably had a second that
Close.
was. I mean, I don't. I think that if it had been given, we would be feeling hard done by today. Um, but it wasn't like clearly bullshit.
No, it was close.
It was close. And then the final shout when they were just in complete desperation mode and
Yeah.
um, they're like
Flying.
trying to
They're
like
flying.
bump into Nate and bump into Nate and fall over, like that's the new plan. Ah, he killed me. He's the goalkeeper and he has the ball. He's allowed to murder you. Like
That's the get out of jail
we're all
free
just
card.
we're all just watching. Like, well, yeah, he murdered that guy. He had the ball though, right? Um,
Case closed.
and I mean, yeah, exactly. We're done here. Yeah, it's like when a cop shoots somebody. It's like, it's good. Just walk it off, bro. It's fine. That's it's limited immunity for goalkeepers when they have the ball.
Jackie in the chat brought up an interesting game moment as well, and wants to know our opinions on blowing for halftime immediately after the corner was taken.
Oh man!
What the fuck?
Okay, so I'm standing on the fence line, and immediately people are like, "What happened?" Like they're asking me, and this is a normal experience for me in a football match. I'm not upset about handling questions, and I'm like, so immediately I'm thinking, well, there's no way he just blew time as the ball
was in the air.
Like it's just they needed to take it, and then at the moment it was in the air, blew time. So I'm like, I'm guessing like maybe he called a foul on a pick or something, and that was because that was going to eat the time. He's like, okay, and we're done, because that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a foul, and that means the half's over.
Yep.
No. But like rewatching, it's like no, he was just like, and half's over, and like Stevie is like out of his mind, like literally jumping up and down like a little kid complaining. That's not how you do. Oh my god, it was hilarious. Like he's if you watch it again, he's jumping up and down in front of the official, like, are you serious? And then like walks away like dismissively, like, oh my god, I can't even handle it. Like, I'm done. And then a couple other guys talk to him, and the officials, I think he's. It's probably one of those things where he's like, yeah, that was probably fucked up, but what are you gonna say? Like, you just have to go. All right, we're done here.
You know what it was? Cindy Cohn phoned it in.
Oh wow.
Oh, conspiracies.
Yeah. He's like, they're done here.
Yeah, no, cut it. They're getting too close.
They're penetrating the bureaucracy. Monsters Inc.
Yeah. No, I can't say that I have ever seen anything like that. Where like they waited, like just fucking call it before he kicks it.
like it's like, oh, corner, and everybody's kind of like there, 30 seconds of kind of everybody walking into position, and they start kind of mini tussling in the area. And then he's like, you're done. Like, why did we do all that? Was that just like a play for you? Like a little diorama of like corner kick? Like, I like this. It's like the players are his favorite dolls, and he just wants to see them do that thing again. I'm very tired.
That's the puppet master.
Do the corner kick thing. And it's over. What? Like even the dolls are protesting.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Two very well taken penalties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like to the same corner in the same
Yeah.
goal. And each time Nate guessed right, um, but Zardes just really blistered his.
Yeah,
I
it was,
mean, I think that Nate may have gotten like a little tick touch on it, like because he looked like he was like, "Damn it!" But I mean, it just blew right through his
yeah.
hands. Like
It would
you
have
know,
taken
Zardes hit it.
an extraordinary keeper to get to
Yeah.
something like that. And so Jake and I were talking about this at dinner. Um, Nate wasn't that far off.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't far. Like it was really. When he, um, from my angle, like it looked like I thought he had saved it.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Like,
It looked. It looked.
because he read, like I saw that he had read the direction right, and he gets down to that corner really quickly, but Zardes
Yeah,
just
no, it was perfect pen. Perfect
crushed
pen.
it. Yeah,
Mac and,
yeah, and then Maxie's was maybe
and
better,
Maxie's was
like
maybe better.
totally, like yeah.
Definitely fucking better. Shut up.
Well, like that's the other thing about Maxie's. I thought they had saved it
Yeah, I did
from
too.
my angle because it was
Oh,
so
that's something
like
I remember from the game. Yeah.
I didn't see it. I don't know.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, like he hit it. He like I don't know if he always goes to his left, but he has consistently gone to his left, and I don't think we're at this point. Everyone's seen enough film of Maxie to
Yeah,
know that
that's it.
that's
That's
true.
what
So I
happens.
hope I'm not, blowing up the scouting. um, but he usually goes to his left, and he just does what Zardes did. He just places it well enough and hits it hard enough that, you know, unless you're cheating that way or you're superhuman, you're just not going to get
Yep.
there. Um, and you know, uh, Evan Bush is not a bad keeper. He's older, but he's always been a dude who's like got decent agility and stuff.
He was shanking him in warm-ups.
And he, oh, you mean what do you mean his?
His long ball practice and
Oh yeah,
warm-ups.
no, like he's not good
No, dude, he
distribution.
was shanking him
He's a
the
good
whole time.
Yeah, he's a good shot stopper. Well, I mean, they had some terrible distribution, but um, the and when he guessed right, I was like, oh, and then it did. Nobody immediately celebrated because I think it was kind of hard to see the ball had gotten under the keeper and like kind of dinked off the upright and rolled along the
Yeah.
goal line like it was that close to the edge that it just barely was in. Um, and so it took a second to even see that the ball, like it kind of dramatically rolled out from behind the keeper. Like I think that's in the goal. That's in the goal. Um, so I don't know if the cheers sound weird on the video as everyone kind of goes,
It was
oh
it
yeah,
was really funny.
yes!
That's the one thing I noticed with that pen because like you said it rolled across the line. The non-smoking section actually knew it was in before the supporter section did.
Right.
And so it was like a stereo cheer. It was like one
Yeah.
side did it and then the other
Yeah.
side did it.
Yeah, it's like your right headphone is sort of half shortened out and it kicked
There's
back
a
in
ping
there.
pong delay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, music
Uh,
nerd term there.
yeah, exactly.
But no, so that is something I remember. And one thing that I liked from that pen was Antoine's follow up to make sure that it was in when all of the crew defenders were just like standing there like crying that he scored it. Like just like that's the level of work that these guys like they just don't stop. Like
The other thing, I'm really starting to enjoy the extent to which Antoine is constantly in a beef with someone. And like, um, he's like I think that he's one of those guys who kind of motivates himself by getting like a little irritation
He's
under his
like the
skin. It's
Incredible
like,
Hulk.
you know, yeah. Well, I mean, or like more. I think of like Michael Jordan
Oh
from
yeah.
the
Yeah, yeah,
documentary,
yeah, yeah.
and I took that personally. Like he finds something to take personally, um, and it's great. Like it's wild because you don't think of a guy who's not very big and not really dirty as being much of a shit
Yeah.
disturber, but he kind of manages to get the job done, despite not being a foul machine and not being like just a big dude who can throw people down. Uh,
Yeah, no,
he did kind of beast on Hairston
he,
on the
he
first
did.
goal, though.
He really, dude.
Like, just took him for a little ride, threw him off, and then made the cross. Like, fucking awesome.
Bye.
Yeah.
um, Jam, you know about the dance?
Okay, so I've
Okay.
been trying to find out all fucking day what this dance is.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the culture.
I assumed it was a TikTok thing.
Okay.
Because why the
That's a
fuck
good
wouldn't it
usual
be?
assumption, yeah.
Actually, like in the middle of us recording, I got a notification that popped up on my screen from Mija, who I don't know if you've met her or not. She's
I
lovely.
don't think I have.
She's my new carpool buddy for matches.
She's your new what? I'm sorry.
I made a friend. She's my
Oh,
new
awesome.
carpool
Yeah.
buddy
Awesome. Yeah.
matches, and she's also Sam's partner.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yes, which I found out after she became my carpool buddy. Anyway, I had asked her about it. I was like, do you know what this dance is? Like, is it a TikTok thing? It's not. So the video that the club posted, like this weekend, I think, of the boys playing
Yeah.
cricket.
All right. Yeah, they were doing that.
That's what
No
the dance is.
way.
It's some dance that just a cricket player
Oh, that is
does.
so cool.
Okay, I love this 100%.
No way. We'll have to look it up because that is awesome.
She put me his name. I'll find it and I'll send you his name because she did tell me who it was. But like into this, they've been playing this cricket thing and apparently watching cricket, and it's a dance that some cricket guy does.
Oh my God. I love it so much. That is so great.
So is this like part of the secret sauce of the Trevor James experience? Is that he gets you to watch cricket, so that because he likes to watch cricket, and he gets the players to do it. Like, yeah, we're gonna need to watch the Ashes again. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Oh my God. Yeah, we'll get me that info and we'll tweet it out from the DCSR account when we get an example of it because that is so fucking cool. And dude, it was just great.
It's a cricket dance. Oh,
My favorite thing is like just something about like the camera angle and like the call and like the ambient noise of the footage of that dance. It totally feels like a FIFA celly. If you've ever played FIFA, like it just was like the perfect like not like it was a dance that was in sync, but not all of the players were perfectly in sync, and the angle was right. It was just perfect. It was like picture perfect.
Like the way they were all kind of fanned out. That it's like the way the players do in FIFA, where they're kind of like it's like they kind of come from wherever they are to near each other, but not like in a formation.
Yeah, and then and there was that video from like the suites of the pen, and like it showed Antoine kicking it in, and then it showed him like way the fuck away from everyone else, and he's like doing the dance too, and he's like so far away, and I'm like, oh my God, it's totally like a perfect FIFA Sally. It's great. Oh,
It's one of those when you're playing FIFA, you're like, oh right, so they're all doing the exact same dance all over the field. That doesn't make any sense.
That would never happen. This is a poor simulation.
You're like, okay, I'm sorry, Electronic Arts. I apologize for my skepticism.
Oh man, lines were ridiculous. What do we?
Yeah.
Do we got to talk about that?
We need like 20 more porta potties.
If it's going to continue to be that level of attendance, and I don't think it will be maybe until the summer, but yeah,
those
for real.
those lines were,
they were so bad.
Like, God, how long from end of line to get to the porta potty was it, Jam? Because you went during the half or the first half.
But we were smart and we didn't wait in the porta potty line. We walked out and saw that line, which was down to at least the midfield tunnel. And we were like, nope. And in the time that we went to behind the other stands to use the indoor bathrooms, which also strangely enough, the men's room line was like 27 times longer than the women's line.
I think that's a normal thing at Keyworth, actually. Isn't it?
Really? I guess because there's statistically probably more of you.
Probably.
Yeah.
At a sporting event
Yeah.
like that, I suppose. But like I literally went to the bathroom, washed my hands, came out, and dicked around on my phone for 5 minutes before Dean even got into the bathroom.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, no, if
But still, by the time we walked back and missed the goal, like there were still people, the same people waiting in line for the fucking porta johns.
Yeah.
that's wild. Well, now you just gave the secret
Yeah.
away. Heads up.
That's rough. Well, I mean, but like for the club, I mean, this is a serious issue. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have people spending 30-minute hours with you standing in line for the bathroom. That they're not going to remember the experience. They're like, it was great until my bladder exploded after having 3 beers, and I had to stand for 45 minutes, like I was, a prisoner of war, waiting for the 3 shitters that they managed to pull together. I mean,
Just got to do better. We just got to do better.
Yeah, it's time to look at that number and increase it immediately.
And it seemed like a bit of a scramble because I saw Jackie asked about the cement by entrances where ankles get fucking broken. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen this week. I had heard word that it was going to happen before yesterday, but apparently not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the thing for me is that I feel like an open cup match is a different animal for City a little bit, in that we sell individual tickets for just that match. So we have a really clear idea in an open cup match exactly how many people are going to fucking show up. Like, you've sold 6,500 tickets, 6,500 people are going to show up. Like, plan on that. It's not like there's a bunch of season tickets out there. People are like, hey, I'm going to use most of these, but maybe not this week. So, I am, my criticism of the club is a little more pointed than I think we were earlier.
Yeah,
I'm kind of saying, like, look, like, take a hard look at this. Let's get this right next time, because we haven't talked about this, but we're probably going to host Cincinnati or Nashville or somebody.
Yeah.
Next round.
Yeah.
We'll find out tomorrow.
At noon o'clock.
Right, and we'll find out tomorrow. And I really hope that. I'm not. Obviously, you're not going to solve this problem necessarily. I mean, this is part of the reason why Keyworth is not developable as a modern structure, right? There's no way to let people take a shit at Keyworth. So, we've decided that locking people in a place for 3 or 4 hours and saying no bathroom for you is a bad idea, and I think that's forward progress. We need to embrace that, but
I mean, that's pointedly said. Like, I have nothing more I can add to that. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I think we can move on.
Yep, confirmed. There's some shit that needs to get addressed at Keyworth.
Oh! Giving it the full. Polly Walnuts here. Oh.
So, speaking of the shitting infrastructure at Keyworth, someone in the chat, Nicolia Dumitrescu, said the funniest thing he witnessed at the match was 2 crew supporters in the real bathrooms vomiting into the same toilet. So
nice.
Shout out! Thank you for conserving toilets and sharing, because it's rough. It's rough.
And shout out to a couple of guys willing to express, their friendship in such a direct way. Yeah. Oh, look, you can puke in the same toilet. It's cool.
Like you drove fucking like 4.5 hours to Detroit, got wasted, threw up in the same toilet at Keyworth, lost to Detroit City, and sat in silence on the way home.
Yes. So it's like I think like
What a match day!
what are the chances that one or both of those gentlemen are today having some sort of life evaluation situation happen? You know, they're like, okay, so I left in high spirits. I got way too hammered in a public place where I don't know anybody, and then I drove home in shame and defeat. Um,
You know, one of those guys is the one who left their scarf in the
Oh
Right.
my
street.
god, I love that.
maybe that was the beginning of the personal renaissance where they were like,
I gotta get my
I've made
shit together.
mistakes made, man. Crew 96.
Oh, Crew 96.
Thank you. Bye.
Let's close that end that chapter.
We're just gonna close the book on that. We're gonna start becoming a Blue Jackets nerd or something.
Oh man. Oh god. We didn't do
The Ohio State University football slash
the MLS.
the MLS. Yeah. Yeah,
Let's
maybe just go free agent within MLS. Like, what are you? Who are you a supporter of? I'm a supporter of Major League Soccer.
I'm gonna hang on a second here. I'm gonna look
No.
and see. Oh, you don't. Okay, then keep going. I don't care. Yeah, I'm looking at some questions.
Just want to
Why?
talk right into the microphone.
Howdy there, 04. Why did Caleb Porter run and avoid facing the media?
Because
Because he's
he's
a
a
little
little bitch.
Next question.
I didn't even want to. I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
Motor City Mad Cat, in the midst of perhaps one of the watershed moments of the Clips' 10-year history, where does last night's victory rank as far as the greatest Detroit City FC accomplishment?
Yes.
I think if we had taken on their full first team and beaten them similarly, I think it would be the number one accomplishment with the star, with a rocket, with like, pew, 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 pew. But the fact that they played a rotated team and all that, I think does slightly kind of just bring it back down to earth a little bit, where it's like, it was great. It's obviously great. It's one of the top moments ever. But for me, looking back, I still think like in terms of um, what it meant to the story of the club, like Monty with the right foot was a bigger match. Um, um, this is great. This is great.
I
Um,
see. I have a totally different take. I think it is. I think it is.
okay.
I think that the story of the club has been all right. There's nothing here. We can build it. We can build it better. And that's what the end game, the end goal always was to build the better thing. Build the better mousetrap.
Oh my god! Yeah. Oh, there.
There it is.
Sorry.
There it
Shut
is.
up, Alexi.
There it is. Man, I can't believe I didn't make that joke.
I just.
But it's just no, dude. It's just like it's like vintage.
I
It's
get what
10
you're
years.
saying.
It's like 10
I
years in
get
the
what
making.
you're saying. Right. I mean, I get what you're saying, and it does like. I think for me, honestly, like it's just my kind of writerly hesitation to like pile cliche on cliche, because it really is just like it's like 10 years in the making. And they said fuck MLS, and whatever, and like
You're just like Jesus Christ. Okay,
yeah,
we
like,
get it.
I get it. Like save something for next season, whatever. Like but at the same time, I think that we have I think maybe it's just not hitting that way for me because in my mind we've kind of rocketed past any need to prove ourselves at that level anymore. It's
Yeah,
like
I mean, I
we,
guess.
we're not like trying to prove we got a thing. Like, it's like no, what we did was we brought an MLS team in and then we just fucking beat them. Like it didn't take miracles and like things coming from the sky and everybody playing out of their mind. We just played our match and just did our football and it was better than their football and we won and fuck off. You know, like we've just kind of like put for me anyway, like the idea that like we're going to justify ourselves or we need to anyone on Reddit or whatever. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like
And I totally get that take too. I mean, I understand where you're coming from because you're.
I mean I do think that like that like it's not I think that my now that I think as we're talking about this, I think that my perception is probably much rarer than yours. Because I mean like Sean Mann came up to me at the fence line like right after the match last night and like kind of like shouted at me. He's like clearly really
Yeah.
excited, and he said like he goes, "You guys have talked a lot of shit for 10 years. These guys just backed it up." It's really really loud, so he's kind of shouting to be heard.
He
And,
shouted that at us too.
yeah, and I was just like, okay, like I mean.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't.
it's
I'm
funny.
like I think so. Yeah, I think he was feeling that same narrative. Is what I'm saying. That like yes, like thunder dunk, like slow motion, like suck at MLS. We're hanging on the rim.
Gadoosh.
Um, yeah. Um, but I think that once we started kind of mauling our way through Nisa, and then that was revealed to be kind of a Griftopia, and we sidestepped out of that into the USL Championship. Like my kind of concerns about where we are in the world of football have largely evaporated, because this is where we're going to be, and you know, like I just don't feel like like we have anything to prove to MLS, like unless like except on the pitch, like in purely football terms, like yeah, come get some, like it's going to be real hard.
I just like
Good luck.
I just like the catharsis, man. I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and it was really, it was the kind of match that well, like, okay, I'm just gonna because I keep thinking about this as we're
Yeah,
talking,
just
and I
fucking say
like,
it. Just go for it.
which is that I really, really, this is something I told you I wasn't gonna say, but I really hate, as I'm sitting here, I just hate my game story from last night. I just think it's like garbage, because it's
It's
like
not it's not garbage, but why
okay,
why
but
why
like
why don't you like
okay.
it?
Here's what I don't like about it is that I should have come home and just written the story, um, based upon like kind of my feeling, like picked out the details of the match as I needed them, but just told the story of being there and feeling it. Um, But what I did instead was come home and rewatch the match.
Mm.
And by the time I got done watching the match, I got home at 11, got done watching the match at like 12:45. I'm like exhausted. And like so it's just like it's very journalisty, it's like kind of just like it's a paragraph and a paragraph and a paragraph. I kept kind of falling asleep and going, "Oh, what am I doing? Where am I?" I just hate it. I don't like it. It's bad. So I'm gonna have to revisit this, soon. Um,
It's
but
topical.
uh, yeah, but like yeah, I just feel like there was like
You can revisit it.
there
You
was
can
a
revisit it. It's fine.
yeah,
It'll be
there was a
fine.
lot of things
It'll
happening.
be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, this is why I didn't want to
Yeah,
get into it
yeah,
because I knew
no.
that I'd start
You're
to like
fine.
babble.
There's plenty of time.
Um,
There's plenty of
okay,
time.
let's talk about
There's
something
plenty
else.
of time. Hartford, who
Yeah.
cares?
Hartford. Yeah. Okay, so Hartford.
No, before we get to Hartford, I want to do questions because there's some good questions.
Oh, yeah. No, no. We got tons of questions. Let's do these.
And Hartford, like I don't want to touch on too much just because this is the
I mean,
victory lap.
fucking knows. Like
Not much.
they're bad.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
end.
Yep. Sorry, Jordan.
He doesn't still work
No,
there, does he?
You're
he does
not
not still
sorry,
work there.
Jordan.
Yeah. So he's probably like, fuck them.
Um, he might be. I had
I mean, I guess I used to work for Detroit City, and here I am, like, yeah. So
spending all your free
yeah,
time.
never mind. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, Harry Solomon had a good question that I think I know the answer for both of you, but I don't know if everyone knows it. Um, what made you support City in the first place? Jam.
I didn't know how to make friends.
That's not the
I'm
whole
so sick
story.
The end.
Okay, no, it's not the whole story. So, believe it or not, I'm not from Michigan. Who knows me knows
Oh
because
yeah.
I've bad.
Sorry,
I'm not from Michigan.
just trying to do the
Um,
northern shift.
Ever. So I moved from the West and found out about this whole thing before I moved. And fucking Twitter
Good
happened.
old soccer Twitter.
Good old soccer Twitter.
This is a very
And
rare instance of it doing something good.
It is rare. It is. It brought us jam. So.
it did. And that was literally it. Like I drove here. I got to my new home on a Friday and went to my first match the next day. Like I just showed up. And y'all were like, "Hey, you're that girl from Arizona." And here we are.
Crazy.
Like, both of you guys are people I met on the first day.
Yeah.
Like Dean was like one of the first people I ran into, and like I sat down with Sean and Sarah, and like they bought me a beer and we chatted.
That's so great.
I wish my memory was not complete tissue paper. Because it's like I think I remembered. Okay, if I'm being honest, I don't remember. I'm going to construct a memory real quick, like based upon what
Like,
you've told me.
Sean, so
but like that was it. I just showed up.
Yeah, I mean that's
that's how most people have found
really all it
City.
takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, everybody. Like if you're out there, like I don't know, just show up, just say
So,
hi.
but
Everybody
his
be like,
question
oh,
his question I guess was worded, what made you want to support it in the first place? So like what drew you to
oh,
it?
It was different than anything else I had seen. I mean, like when I was trying to figure this out, I had options because like when you're moving to the Detroit area and you're looking on the internet at shit, it was like, hey, there's this Detroit City team, there's this Bucks team, like there's teams. And comparatively, I was like, this seems like more of my option. Like I had heard about it, I knew it existed, I'd seen this shit on
This
the
was
internet.
2015?
Yeah, like early mid 2015. So uh
last year at
Yeah,
Cass.
last year at
year at
Cass.
Cass, I showed up. And once I got there, I was like, okay, yes, I can get into this. Like the people were really nice. Obviously, that was a
You fit
huge
right in.
draw.
It's just like you slide. It's like the puzzle piece.
Like I just showed up and I was like, oh, I just get along with these
Yeah,
people. And then finding out, once I met everybody and finding out more about like the actual club and the history, and I was like, okay, this isn't just the same bullshit soccer that everybody has in every place. Like this is actually different.
yeah. And it was apparent back then. It was. You knew. Um,
Yeah,
Sean, what initially drew you to support City? Like we kind of
I
know
mean,
this. We've talked this story.
right. I mean, this story I feel like is one of those stories everybody knows already. But yeah, I went to cover the U.S. Open Cup match in 2014 against RWB Adria, and because I was running Hot Time in the Old Town, which is a Chicago soccer blog from my palatial estate in Flint, Michigan. And like so I didn't know much about City. I didn't really do any research. Um, I you know when I said, "Hey, I'm going to go cover this match," one of the writers, like in our Slack or whatever it was at the time, one of the writers in the thing was like, "Oh, you know, hey, I think they're pretty crazy. Like I've heard some stuff that they're crazy." Like, all right, you know, I mean, you know, I've been a sports journalist for
And
a
you're
long
like,
time, like
okay.
so, you know, like you know, like you're constantly making wanking motion at
Yeah.
people, you know, not mentally, like okay, yeah, like oh this kid is amazing, like yeah, okay, I'm sure he is. Let's go see, um, and so so you know I'm mentally making wanking motion about them being crazy, and then I show up and it was you guys, and you really were crazy, and it was that match, so you know it was a very violent match. It was the most violent match in City's history, and Northern Guard like already stood out to me, you know, because of the handmade flags. I was coming from Chicago Fire supporterdom, and they also were all handmade everything. Like they really made massive tifo by hand, and and they were kind of unusual in that at that point in MLS. So like what Tifosi you did see was a lot of times was
Printed.
printed or kind of
Yeah,
you know whatever
bullshit.
prefab. And
I'll
so
gatekeep
like
that.
immediately I was like immediately I was right away like I mean immediately I was right away like redundant. And sorry. Um, I immediately kind of identified what was happening there, and like it had a lot of common threads with the better parts of fire supporter culture that I was already familiar with. And then the match was crazy, and then everybody like, and you could tell that the passion coming, like you know, part of what this is you can feel other people's feelings when you're in a big group of people, and that like way the fact that you know if we're not sociopaths that we kind of understand how other people around us are feeling is what drives these feelings at football matches. Like you kind of get swept into these waves of emotion, and I had not been in a crowd where the emotions like swept me away like that maybe since I was in high school, like at basketball games, you know, where like your community is there and people are literally willing to like kill each other over winning this game, and like it really had that vibe like oh man like you know there might be some shallow graves after this thing, you know,
Yeah.
in the extra time, and the yeah I mean it was immediately like wow okay we're coming back to this we're when do they play again, and you know we got the car and Sarah was like when do they play again, so it wasn't just like the soccer nerd, um, she was just like oh this shit is banging we got to get there,
This is something we need to
um,
do.
right so I mean so yeah it wasn't any insight on my part, like I just kind of covered this, and then like once I saw it, I recognized it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm this. Like, I'm gonna do this. Like, yeah,
Yeah, that's really cool. I've never really heard you break it down like that. I've only heard the story itself. Um, but yeah, no, that's like some really cool insight into that story is like the way you got swept away. Because that
yeah,
is something that I think everyone who comes into the section or comes to even like not even into the section to a match, you get swept away. It's like
right.
it's
Well, like you know, people compare it to falling in love, and it really like I when I think about it, it is kind of like that feeling when you meet somebody that you can tell like it's the vibes are happening. You know,
oh.
come go home like full of like that crazy kind of like energy because you're kind of like propelled forward by the possible futures you can imagine here. And
Wow.
City was like that. Like it's like it really is like, oh my god, oh I can see, oh I'm gonna do all this, like woo, you know, you like like a big slideshow of craziness that you're gonna like fall into. And it's you know it works out because that's pretty much what it's like.
That's it's crazy insightful. Like, dude, that is exactly how it feels. Is seeing the possibility, you're like, wow, okay, this is it.
Yeah. Wow. I'm really gonna do this.
Was uh Drew asked, was last night the loudest ever?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Monty with the
I know.
fucking foot
Mondi
was
was really loud.
Monty was really loud. Beating the Bucks. Roddy's
2018.
penalty.
Yeah.
That was really loud. Like I was on the pitch for that one, and like you could feel it like in your abdomen. It was like
Yeah. Yeah.
like
No,
a
no.
like a pressure wave. Like ooh.
It's fucking up
Huh?
though.
It was up there.
It was
Yeah.
The
up
6
there.
minutes
Yeah.
of eternity were
Oh my
loud.
god.
The
Yeah.
6 minutes of eternity were loud.
And it really did have that like that distinct like cries the damned sound as everyone's just sort of just like they're cheering and despairing, like please just blow the whistle. Yeah.
It was so I wouldn't probably call it the loudest, but I would probably call it um the longest amount of pandemonium ever at a city match.
Yeah, I mean really.
Yeah.
Realistically, it was just 10 minutes of chaos.
Yeah.
It was 10 minutes of chaos.
Yeah, really once we got the go ahead goal, it was just, people just kind of going like staring, you're just kind of swiveling like you're watching a tennis match from like the clock to the field, like and just sort of shouting wordlessly the whole time. Like, I mean, there were some chants going on, but I didn't even know what they were. I was just kind of like, like just like I was being electrocuted or something.
It was crazy. I also just realized that I forgot to mention what first drew me to City.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't do
It was a good question, so I got distracted. So I had initially heard about the club through someone who was on the DCFL, and were like, "Hey, did you hear?" Like, I didn't know about DCFL. They played on it, and they were like, "Hey, you like soccer? Like you watch Serie A, you watch Argentina soccer, like we're getting a team here." And I'm like, "What? Like really?" And they're like, "Yeah, they're gonna play at Wayne State." And I was like, "Oh, what? That's like a huge stadium." And so yeah, there was like a rumor going around that like initially City was going to be playing at like Wayne State, which is like a fucking, I think it's like 25,000 seater.
Oh wow.
And like
so it would have been like the Chattanooga model.
Yeah, but like I heard to lease that stadium out is also like fucking crazy. So it was like silly that was ever the rumor, because it never was going to happen. But like just to give you an idea of like how information traveled way back in 2011, like no one fucking knew what was going on.
People just making stuff up.
People
going,
are just,
oh yeah, I heard that they're gonna play.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. So I ended up, Googling it, finding the website. I thought the branding was sick. I thought the scarf was sick, and I was like, the season tickets are they're like $40.
I mean, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then I was like, well,
like I spent more on delivery pizza last night. Like, fine.
Yeah. Like really. And so I ended up getting. They had like different tiers, and I ended up getting like the most expensive one, which I think was like $80. It was like, I was like, I want to like support this, so like give them money. Like we have a team finally. Like my grandfather was like a Boca Junior supporter, so it's like, yes, like my local club finally, like thank God. And I went not knowing what to expect. Actually, the whole first year I never went to the supporter side whatsoever. But that was because my initial preconceptions of supporters were the like Bada Brava in Argentina, and I'm like,
okay, right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
weapons and extortion and shit
oh
like
yeah,
that.
well, I was gonna say
Yeah.
drug dealers and all everything, but it's different in Argentina than it is up here now. But yeah, so it like I was like, wow, okay, so this is gonna be like a real thing, and I wouldn't say that even in that first year, I was like fallen in love with City, but I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I like this. Like I went to every game, and then it wasn't until the the season opener in 2013 at Hurley Field in Berkeley against FC Sparta that I stood with NGS,
Oh wow.
and that was the match that I fell in love. Was
Ah.
That was my first away match, and it was a wacky night. uh,
Was that when Sam was the Sparta coach?
no, so Sam became head coach after Sparta sold and became the Michigan Stars. So
Oh,
he
okay.
was the first coach for the Michigan
He's the first.
Stars. Which
It's
is
like
like
wow.
really funny.
Yeah.
um, no, the head coach for Sparta was a guy who had a goatee. And there was a if you don't know if you want to know more about like city history and you want to like learn, go read the Boys and Rouge blogs, because those give you some history of the club that like it's unbelievable. Like you think like the star like if you like the Stars drama now, there was like 8 years of that shit
Just
just
constant.
constant,
Just
and
constant.
the Boys in
Yeah.
Rouge blog documented all of it very well. So I don't want to like spoil any of it, but like yeah, go look that up if you want to know more and you're listening to this. But yeah, so it was just a wacky experience. eh, so this is a high school field in Berkeley, Michigan, and there are like police cars in the lot. There is security like patting you down, like groping you. uh
Oh wow.
like people's books got confiscated from their bags. Like I can't
Wow.
like there's like even way more than that. It was madness, and so for that to be my first away game and like deciding like okay, I'm gonna go be with these crazy supporters, I'm like damn, okay, so it is like the like they're just like what are we, they're like checking me for knives. So that's when I fell in love, was the overzealous security at for FC Sparta, the precursor of the Michigan Stars.
It's wild. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's how I fell in love.
Well, I mean that was that question was that was a great question.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I like that one. Um, he had an man. Harry always has good questions. So, incoming depth. We're coming up on like a little over an hour right now. So probably want to do like 10, 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's like
a couple more questions.
they're going. They're giving us
Yeah, they're
this.
like, all right, cut it. Like, get the fuck out of here. We got like bocce balls coming on.
Everyone else's time.
Hey, bocce ball.
Hey.
Uh,
Oh.
so Harry Solomon asked again another great question. Incoming depth. Will the Tanys get time like the kids at Cal United?
Um. eh, I mean, I don't really know. I think that um, I think Trevor's tendency is to want the players to snatch the time from his hands, to show in a training in such a way that you're like, okay, I need to give them a chance. And I don't know, I he has featured Bosch a couple times. I think that Benny's being signed to give us someone on the bench for midfield while Brad is hurt. Um, and I don't know if that means I think a lot will come down to how the guys are feeling, how the starters are feeling. Maybe how how Lay's whether he continues to round into fitness and can go 90 minutes in the future. Because we're perilously thin everywhere but striker,
Yeah.
and it's not like we're like got too many strikers. We're okay at striker, but everywhere else, I mean, we just can't have any injuries really. And
Which done well
right.
is
I mean,
Mm.
I haven't talked to anybody about the extent of his injury, but he was on crutches last night and he was wearing an exterior knee brace, um, of the kind that you would wear if you're trying to stabilize a joint, um, which worries me. That could mean that we're talking about like ligament damage. Um,
it could also
but
just
maybe
be a
it's just like a
sprain.
sprained
It
knee.
could also just
Yeah.
be a sprain.
Could just be a sprained knee. Um, I think that if he'd blown out his knee, they probably would be telling us something right away.
Yeah.
Because they'd need to know like, okay, it's going to be 5 months, you know, minimum, um, and that would change the course of our season essentially. Like he's an important piece of the puzzle. Um, the fact that they haven't said anything, I'm thinking it's probably a sprain and it's more like a 3 to 6 week kind of a deal, but that's still 3 to 6 weeks. So I would imagine in there you're going to have some opportunities for Benny and Bosch to get into matches, especially like we've got a home match against New York Red Bull 2. That's the kind of match where you hope you can get a 2 or 3 goal lead in the second half and
Cruising.
give those guys some run. Um, uh, I mean, you're looking for opportunities to safely bed them into the team and get them sort of used to the pace at which things are going to happen in a match, and give them an opportunity to see if they can, if like, because sometimes it's just being in that environment that like you'll make the jump and something will click, and but you've got to give the guy a chance for anything to click. um, I do think that Trevor's on the more conservative end of that development scale, where he's waiting
Hmm.
for the players to snatch the
Show
playing
me
time
what
out
you
of his hands.
got.
Well, like I think that the idea that anyone is owed any playing time at the professional level, I think, is one of those ideas that you know you want to get out of everyone's head immediately. Like, oh, you're owed nothing. Like, are you useful? Are you helping? Okay, then we can talk about it. But like, you know,
That's
um,
why we only have fucking 16,
right,
17 players. There's no fat.
right. I mean, right. No fad. I mean, I think that's part of it. Is I mean, look, I think that we're in warm body stages right now. I think that we're just like
I think it's inevitable we get some
it looks
players,
to
to be honest.
what it looks to me, and I think this is one of those things that nobody can talk about, right? You're not allowed to talk about what happens in the business, really.
Hmm.
Like that's just part of it.
Hmm.
When you work for a club, you can't say, "Oh, It looks to me like probably when the Bang sponsorship went away, that they said, "Oh, we're going to revise those budgets. I'm sorry," and um, because I have heard that there are people who've previously received some kind of assurances that no longer like that those assurances kind of evaporated, and that's not a thing that Trev would do on purpose.
Yeah.
He's a straight dealer, um, and will tell you, as one of his players, he'll tell you if you come to him and say that, well, I need to know what's going on, talk to me. He will. Um, so I'm guessing that something changed somewhere along the line, you know, um, and we're just trying to like James gang it through the season, like we're gonna just everybody's gonna get in there, okay. Um, so I
I
mean,
think it's inevitable we bring in
that's a
some
lot of
players. I
speculation.
think it's inevitable we
Yeah,
bring in players, whether they're like short-term signings, academy kids, loan
well,
players are
I
obviously
know
an
that I know
option.
that right. Trev talked about how he had some loans lined up that um, they wound up going somewhere else in England because they weren't going to be able to play until March,
Mm,
and they wanted to, it's a January window. They're like, they want to get this dude out and
yeah.
start getting him games. So instead of loaning him to us, they loan him to, and we're talking about Premiership kids, right? Um, so they loan him to, a League One team there in
Yep.
England, and I mean, obviously that would help a lot.
Yeah.
Um, Loans are a fantastic way to pad out a roster at our level. If you can get, I mean, what you're talking about is you're borrowing a worker from another business, and the other business keeps paying him, and you just promise that you'll work the worker. Like, oh yeah, well, we'll make him work, and they're like, okay, cool. We just want to make sure he works. Like, yeah, yeah, you got it. We don't have to pay anything. Like, so I mean, that is one way out of this kind of boondoggle. But I mean, if you're talking about loans from Europe, you're talking about nothing happening until July 1st. Really, is usually when the
Yeah.
the new contracts roll over, and you could do something. Um, so that cavalry is not arriving,
For a while.
anytime soon.
Yeah. Got to
Um,
halfway through the season.
and I think that Trev does have a real um, like sense of the risk every time you add a new personality to a very healthy, vibrant locker room. That every new personality is a risk,
Mm-hmm.
um,
That's a good point
and
too.
um, this is clearly a very cohesive, determined, together group of guys.
They're doing
Um,
cricket celebrations.
and uh, you know, yeah, yeah. I must have watched that cricket video like 20 times. It was just fucking hilarious. The like the terrible swing that Maxi takes right at the end. It's just like, oh my god, it's perfect. It's
Jam.
amazing.
Dennis on Twitter
Mm,
wants to
Oh, this
know
mother.
who do you want in round 4 and should
mm.
City bid to host?
Yes, of course we should bid to host because, like, we pay, but if we make money, it's
It's
cool.
good to be paid.
Then I fuck with my flights. I'm on Cincinnati. Fuck
I
them.
mean, yeah,
I mean, we got priors with them in the Open
we
Cup.
do.
You know,
We got priors. Give them
Yeah,
28
fuck them.
tickets.
28 tickets.
Sorry.
I really hope we are that spicy.
I hope so too.
And here's the other thing. Word on the street is if that is in fact the scenario, memes guy will
Ooh.
come.
Wow.
So, oh man, I gotta buy that guy a beer.
Yeah. Start saving up, Dion. Might need to buy a beer on May 10th.
I'm gonna be sweating at this noon draw tomorrow.
um, I mean, yeah, I think we ought to bid for it. Like, if people don't know, they used to do like sealed bids, like secret shit, where
Super
you bid for
Federation.
your, yeah, the federation. Now what they do is like it's an open system, and it costs like going into each round what it's going to cost to host. And those costs are used to ameliorate travel expenses for the whole tournament.
Not for nothing.
So it sucks
Yeah.
that it's going to cost us $12,000. We have to put a $12,000 deposit in, to host this match. But if we get drawn against Cincinnati, our understanding is they're not going to bid to host. So we would be, it's just down to paying 12 grand, and like the math works out really easily. Like we sold 6,100 tickets last night at $12 a pop. Yeah, at merch and food and beer in there, and you've made $80,000 to $100,000.
Yeah. On a
On a
Tuesday.
Tuesday, right?
That's a player.
And right,
That's
right.
a couple players.
So I mean, that is well, and like, like if the people out here who've played Football Manager are nodding along, like that's exactly how it works. Like you get on a cup run, you start to make some of that. You start to make a little extra money that you didn't budget, and now you've got some breathing room. Like, oh shit! Like,
Hold
okay,
on a
we
minute.
just made, an extra $250,000 that we weren't counting on. Um, we can afford to bring in a couple guys. Um, so hopefully that's happening. Um, I mean, we've been trialing guys all along. So clearly we're still looking.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some options.
Yeah.
But who do you want, Sean?
I mean, Cincinnati. I'd like to play them. I think we should have beaten them
The first time.
when we played them with our NPSL side.
Yep.
And they were complete dickheads about tickets and every bit of our whole supporter experience. They just basically made it like, okay, you can come in, but only 30 of you, and you have to cover yourselves in your own human excrement before you can walk in. That's our only conditions. Besides that, have fun. Just don't swear or drink or do anything. Oh, cool. Right. This is great. This is like, we're at a football match, and church broke out. Um,
It is down there.
so, yeah, hell is real. And it's in Cincinnati.
Okay, let's there's more, but like I'm calling it. It is almost.
What was the Jeremy had that with 3-5 years.
Do you want to do that one?
Well, I want to present the question because I think it's good enough that maybe we can come back to it like another episode.
Okay.
But I think the world needs to hear. This is an excellent question.
Okay, so Jeremy.
It's really good, like 420, like give me your take on this kind of question. It's really good.
Question: if you want something structured to discuss, Jeremy Churchman says, the club hands you a blank 3-year, 5-year, and 7-year contract, one each, that you could hand to anyone on, I'm assuming this squad, to lock them down. Who do you give each contract to? Are you focusing on stability or potential sell-on value? Jam. No. Sean.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what I said before the thing, which is I wouldn't give any players 5 or 7-year contracts, because player careers are very, 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 very short. Maximum of a decade. Giving someone a half-year career contract, I think, is the kind of bad business that leads clubs to,
financial
sink
ruin.
themselves. Yeah, and obviously, no. I mean,
Hot take. I would give Trevor the 7-year
Trevor,
contract.
exactly. I mean, for Trevor, I would, if he doesn't have a rolling contract right now, that's what I would propose. Is like, how about like a 3-year sunset? Whenever you decide to go, okay, I'm about done. We're going to run 3 more years. Just like in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Just run this, go. Yeah. So I mean, I 100% agree with Jamie there. Like Trevor, then maybe like, maybe this new assistant coach who no one's been introduced to yet.
The old data guy.
I see his fingerprints on a lot of the things we're doing that are really like kind of interesting and different. The way we're handling kickoffs.
I love the
kickoff
one. I love the kickoff one. It's like my favorite.
Like
thing.
the guy that that was another one I got to explain to like some people on the fence line. Like, why would they do that? Like, well,
do you want to talk? You don't want to talk about it.
What? Oh, do you? Oh, yeah. I mean, we could talk about it.
Jam, do you know that? Do you know the kickoff thing? Let's teach Jam the kickoff thing.
Right. So, now it's kind of evolved. Like we've done it a couple of different ways. And the original way was that anytime we got a kickoff.
Sorry, hold on. Chat it down bad. 4-0 to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. They're getting smacked.
Okay, sorry. Resume.
When
kickoff.
when we would kick off early in the season, we would not attempt to win the ball at all. Like what we would essentially do is like a coffin corner punt in football.
Right.
Um, we would take the kickoff and dump it out of bounds as close to the opposing end line as possible. And because the idea is that when you kick the ball off, you're really kind of in the build up phase, and the value of a build up possession is not extremely high once you do the
And what do
data.
you mean
Like,
by value?
right. But the value of a defensive possession very deep in their end is higher. Um, like basically, when you're that close to the goal, you can just force one turnover and you're in an attacking position.
The
Um,
odds are that you're
so that's
more
what we've
likely to
been
score.
doing.
Yeah.
Right, we're basically doing a soccer version of like coffin corner punts. Now, more recently, we've started to do kind of an optional version of that where we'll do like trips right. Where you have
Wow,
you have
football
like
term.
right. Well, but I mean, this is what
This is what you're
like
strap in, folks.
gridiron applies here because these are set pieces, and gridiron is just a series of set pieces, right? Like gridiron is
Yep.
kind of football if it's only set pieces, um, and so they're doing like a trips thing where they've got three. You got like Connor, a couple of guys that are good in the air, Connor, Pato, and I think maybe Antoine, and when the whistle blows, they just like they just scream down that one side and go to flood a certain zone. And when we just sort of leisurely pass the ball back and try to dump the ball into that zone, this is like it's like dump and chase hockey, right? um, so, it's the same idea, but instead of just giving the ball away and counting on the press, we're taking the chance that we might win the ball down there and immediately, keep it. But like that, but that's the kickoff thing, and it's the kind of decision you
Okay.
get when you're. It's like the changes in the way the NBA offenses have run in the last 20 years. Once they got some data and realized, oh, 3 pointers,
Duh.
like we got shitloads of 3 pointers now. Like, like this is one of those like clear kind of data things that shows up where you're like, okay, look, when you kick off and you just pass it back and try to start a possession, that
It's a
just
waste of time. It's
sucks.
fucking waste of
Don't do that.
time. Don't even fucking
Yeah.
buy it. Just
Don't
just
do
don't
that.
do it. There's no
Yeah.
reason.
You got the ball. You got an opportunity to move the ball into your attacking zone without any quibble about it. So do it. Like do it every time,
So
and that's what we're doing.
literally, listeners,
Um,
anytime we kick off, watch what happens. It just it's a foregone conclusion. And it
right.
works. And it works.
All
It
right.
like literally works. Fucking against Birmingham, we did it. We drew a foul in the first 11 seconds right outside the box from doing
Right.
the kickoff move. It fucking works. Okay. It's just one of
Yeah.
those like
I'll
you're just
try
like
next
man,
time.
like that's like so simple, but it's just someone knew the numbers.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, like, there's more stuff like that we can talk about in another
Yeah. Yeah, we don't. There's
podcast because
another. That's like an hour of content.
we're just gonna keep talking until I like slump forward into my microphone. Like you'll know it's over when the
God, there's like some rough Open Cup updates. Chatted down by 5. Red
yeah.
Red Bulls beat Hartford 2-1.
I
Rochester
mean,
beat Motown.
Chad is going like I know Dom Dwyer started for Atlanta,
Oh,
and he's pretty good, and
yeah.
he's also like one of those dudes who's just like psychotically relentless. Like he's going to try to score 6 goals against you, even if you're like
Like
I don't know.
he's already dead.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's just that way.
Chad said, "Rip to the fighting Ryan Petersons."
Oh.
Oh my God. God, there's some deep cuts. There's some
Fighting
deep
Ryan
cuts in the chat
Peterson.
right now. He's like, Ken said he just wants to play soccer.
Man, I just don't think you understand how bad his shoulder hurt that whole time, you guys. The whole time. It hurt so bad. I heard about it every fucking day.
Man, I've got some stories about that guy.
Dude. Every lunch, it's like he'd go sit with me. Like I'm at the bar,
Yeah.
like kind of eating, and he'd come to sit at the bar because I guess nobody liked him. And like he's like, oh, his shoulder's really hurting. I'm like, I'm thinking, you know that you talked to me about this 24 hours ago, and the every 24 hours before that for like a month. Like, I get it. You separated your shoulder, and it continues to hurt. Like,
Fuck Ohio.
fuck Ohio.
Fuck.
Um, same time, same place next week.
What? Okay.
Jam, anything you want to add in about Hartford? Last call.
I got nothing.
Yeah. Can we call them the Whale?
The Whale.
I just miss
The Whale. If you want.
What is their actual name?
Hartford Athletic.
Oh.
FC.
I saw them once. That's all I
good?
got.
Football club.
I don't really
Forgettable.
remember.
They've never been good.
Pittsburgh.
Thanks, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next Wednesday.
I love each and every one of you. Good night.
Yeah. Fall for the wave.